As y'all know, 2012 was Itsy Farm's first full year. We were pretty stupid. We planted over 500 tomato plants, 22 different varieties, and the deer got almost all of them. But before the deer got them, we tried several ways of supporting those plants or keeping them off the ground. Remember that if the plant or if the fruit touch the ground, then you're going to have real problems. So we want to review the experience that we had this past year so that you don't make the same mistakes we did. We tried several different techniques like store-bought cages, homemade cages. We tried tomato stakes. We tried string and tomato clips. We tried the so-called Florida weave. We didn't do any trellises, but that's another popular method that gardeners use, and we'll talk about that a little later. Well, let me tell you what we found out. Now, everybody's familiar with store-bought cages like these. You can get them at the big box stores, at garden centers, hardware stores, and such. They come in a variety of sizes, 2 or 3 or 4. They're made of wire. You push the wires into the ground. If the ground's hard, you bend the wire, it won't go in, and it won't support the plant. If the ground is soft, like you've just tilled it up, it's too easy to push the wire into the ground. They fall over easy, and again, they won't support the plant. So I found that these kind of tomato cages, store-bought tomato cages, are pretty much a waste of time and money for tomatoes. But I really like them for things like pepper, eggplant, and other plants that have sturdier stalks. Because of their conical shape, they're easy to store, and because they're made out of metal and wire, they'll last for a few growing seasons if you don't bend them up too bad. As far as homemade cages, I didn't make any for this experiment, but everybody's seen them. There are lots of different designs out there on the internet. The Bayou Gardener makes his out of the same kind of welded wire that's used in concrete. If you only need them for one season, you can make them out of sticks or leftover wood that you've cut into strips. You can put them in a teepee shape and tie the tops together, and you've got a homemade tomato cage. You can even get 1x2s and screw or nail them together, or even use zip ties, and they should last a couple of seasons. Gardeners have been staking tomatoes for decades. They've used everything from tree branches to bamboo sections, from sawn lumber to steel rebar. You just drive your stake into the ground close to the plant and loosely tie the stem of the plant to the stake as the plant grows up. How long your stakes will last depends on what you're using and how you're storing them. 1/2 or 5/8 inch rebar will last 20 years or more if stored under cover in the off-season. T-posts, like those used for fencing, are another popular plant stake. They're expensive, but they'll last a long time and will support a very heavy plant. Since the T-posts have a spade at the bottom, drive them into the ground before you plant or at the same time you plant. If the plant is more mature, you risk cutting the roots with the spade. Hanging string and tomato clips are another popular support method. Generally, this is best for greenhouses or hoop houses where there's a strong frame to hang the string from. Front Porch Farms and MHP Gardener use this technique very successfully in their hoop houses. We tried this technique with our field-grown tomatoes, but even with strong wire and landscape timbers to support it, the wire sagged too much with the weight of the plants and fruit. We even tried intermediate support using T-posts with no success. Bobby at MHP Gardener has been very successful using this technique for field-grown tomatoes. Using 4x4s, mobile home anchors, and steel cable, he was able to build a framework that would support 2 long rows of tomatoes. I'm pretty sure it was expensive, but it worked. So to summarize what we learned in 2012, we tried a lot of different ways to support tomatoes, but really didn't find anything any better than your regular old tomato stakes. And if you got the time and the money to build a nice strong support structure for your tomatoes, that's great. It takes a lot of effort, and we just didn't feel like that was something for us. We may try this in the future, but not right now. I'm really looking forward to trying the cattle panels and T-post next year. I think this is going to be the right way to handle this, and I'll do a video in 2013 to let you guys know how well that worked for us. Thanks for watching.